Is the Xbox One worth it? Find out in this Q&A. Hey guys, Smashcast here. I'm AG and
PJ.
And today we're going to be doing a gamer POV, and this is going to be a Q&A session of me who has not ever, partially for 1 second, no joke, playing on the Xbox One, no experience, versus someone who owns the console, and I'm going to ask him questions about what he thinks about this console. He's going to answer it. You ready?
Yep, I'm not going to answer about specs because I would have to look that up. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so my first question is got to be one of the biggest questions ever. Not really, it's just my question. Okay, so now get rid of the hype, guys. The first question I'm going to ask is, I was actually in the mall the other day, and I saw like the Microsoft stores open, so I walked over there. I'm just like ripping off Apple. Why not go check it in? Because the Xbox One is the only reason that I'm gonna go there for. So I go in, then I see a 3D printer, and I'm like, okay, this seems like this was made by Microsoft. Nope, it's not. It's MakerBot. And then I look at the computer, it's pretty boring, and then I go over to the Xbox One. This is what I want to see. Then I'm just like, we gotta go. And then I'm just like, no, oh my gosh. I swear, I was just about to play Forza Motorsports, because they don't let you play Titanfall on those demo stuff, because I wish I could play the Titanfall demo. But now, I picked up the controller, which was actually the Titanfall controller, ironically, which you could not play the game, though. And I don't know, is it just me, but I swear that the controller feels a little bit plasticky. Is it just me?
I'm not sure. Well, probably, I'm gonna guess that, but the controller's really fat.
Yeah, I have to.
Like all Xbox controllers, and I personally don't like Xbox controllers. What about you?
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Like, they are pretty bulky and stuff, and like it might just be me being picky, but I really don't like controllers when they're too plasticky. I really like to feel like the quality in my hands, but yeah. It could just be because I was holding it, but the skins though was pretty cool. Like the Titanfall looked pretty nice, so I have to give them for design. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the overall design of it, I like it better. People are complaining about the triggers, but it doesn't really mind me. So yeah. Now,
speaking more about the controller, so I haven't gotten hands-on because I left literally when I was loading up the Forza Motorsport loading screen. I didn't get to try anymore, but I just seeing, all the buttons, there's quite a few on there. Now, do you use them all the time, or do you just, not use most of them?
Yeah, well, like the select button, I think for pretty much all consoles, there's no use anymore. And the menu button is basically the new start button. I'm not really sure why they changed it, but the buttons are pretty much the same.
Now that you've played the Xbox One, what do you think? Have you played the PS4 demo yet?
I have not. I've felt the controller. All I know is that the thumbsticks peel pretty easy because of the material.
Mm-hmm. So I have not either. I actually know I have, but I played Knack, which I don't like that game at all. I found it very boring. And I got to feel the controller, but since you have not, what do you think? You've gotten a bit of hands-on with the Wii U, so what do you think? Honestly, I won't feel offended. Like, what do you think's the better console?
Xbox One or Wii U? Well, as you've said, I have the Xbox One, and I don't have the Wii U. So the Wii U, I personally think, has some better games coming out than the Xbox One at the moment, but I think Titanfall is really good. So I think I'm going to have to go with Xbox One, but that will soon change after some releases come out this year, even though really good games are already on it, like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and Super Mario 3D World. So yeah, I'm kind of on the fence between, but I'm kind of leaning towards the Xbox One a little bit.
Yeah, like you said, there's some pretty good games, especially Titanfall. Definitely a really hyped game. Sounds like an amazing game, and I've never played an FPS for more than 10 minutes, so I'm not a big FPS guy. And the thing is that I can't wait to play that game. But are there any other games that you're excited for that are going to be released soon?
GTA 5. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not. I haven't looked up any releases, but yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty much it.
And now, especially between games, people do tend to say that of course, like the PS4 does have maybe like a better graphics. Not in all games. Some games do tend to have like the same 1080p. Sometimes both PS4 and Xbox One do get the upscale from 720 to 1080. But probably one of the biggest things is that sometimes games have been like 940p. I can't remember the exact dimensions on the Xbox where it was 1080 on the PS4. Do you personally like mind the difference between 1080 and 940 or something?
Well, I can see the difference. There's like comparisons between Black Flag on PS4 and Xbox One, and the PS4 looks better. Um, so yeah, I think the PS4 has a little bit better, but honestly, if it's that small resolution difference, I personally don't mind. Like, I don't like completely horrible graphics, but it's barely a difference.
What do you think about the Xbox being like a media control center? Because the Wii U is definitely geared towards, like, let's say kids, because there's a lot of those kid friendly games. There's also, they're trying to hit hardcore gamers that like a lot of hard games like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. And then the PS4, of course, going definitely for the hardcore gamers, getting good online play, everything. But Xbox does, they're having all that stuff like the headsets and the jacks for it, and the media remote that's coming out, the Xbox One remote. Now, what do you think about it? Do you ever use the media center at all?
Well, um, the only thing I use it for are two things. To turn on the console, I usually say Xbox on, but what I don't like is the Kinect is basically on 24/7. So the the Xbox One isn't on, but the Kinect is, which I'm not really sure how that works, but anyway, basically Kinect is on 24/7 and I just think it's kind of stupid. And also the other thing I use it for is for the TV because I have my cable box connected to my Xbox One, so I can say Xbox Watch TV when I'm at the home screen, and it just goes to that. So yeah, it's kind of useful sometimes.
So pretty much you said that you don't really enjoy having the Kinect, pretty much.
I really don't find a use for it. It kind of deletes the purpose of gaming because you don't even use the controller, you just talk to it. So yeah.
In your experience, have you needed like an always-on internet connection?
Um, it's useful, but no, I'm not sure about Titanfall. Like, I haven't even played it. I played the demo while it was available on the PC, but not sure about single player on Titanfall. So yeah.
Now, these next two are got to be my biggest questions that I have. And the first one will be, what do you think about the Xbox One not being backwards compatible with the 360 games?
I hate it. I hate it. I have to plug in my darn Xbox 360 to play Black Ops 2 when Ghosts is the biggest piece of um stuff that is bad that I've ever played. So I really don't like the fact of that. So I wish it was backwards compatible.
Okay, now this is kind of building on that, and this is going to be my biggest question. And this is, now, do you have an Xbox Live Gold membership? And do you think it's definitely worth it, or do you think it should, all the gold membership should just be coming with the console and not should have a separate membership?
I think I think Microsoft made a really good plan on that, making the Xbox Gold, and yes, I do have it. I've had it for about a year and a half, I'm gonna say. And the PS4 also has an online um, fee, but the PS3 doesn't, which is kind of weird. So I've heard, this is what I've heard, it's $5 a month. So that totals up to $60, which is the same price as Xbox Live Gold membership for a year. So it's pretty equal. So I think it is definitely worth it.
Now, we're just going to end it off. This is going to be my last question. And this is going to be that the Xbox One is pretty big. Now, do you feel it to be that big and a big of space? And especially with the power brick is not built in. So what do you think about the space?
Yeah, it's pretty big. I'm gonna send a picture to you comparing the size of my cable box, the Kinect and the Xbox One. The Xbox One is almost bigger than my cable box. So yeah, it's pretty insane. It's huge.
Yeah, so guys, that's all that we have time for today. Now, don't hate if you're not an Xbox fan. Guys, this was just personal opinions, and if you guys are hating on it, it could be a possibility that you haven't played the console, so don't hate on a console that you haven't played yet. And if you do have an Xbox One, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us what you think is the positives and the negatives, and give this video a thumbs up, and we thank PJ for being here for the Q&A.
No problem.
This is Mashcast signing out. Peace.
Peace.